P2B almost cried today. Let us read his comment about the aircraft they want to buy for the vice president. Guys, you remembered when the incident happened that they said there was a foreign object that hit the cockpit of the vice president, and that that was why he went back on his trip. He couldn't continue the trip, which Nigerians reacted to say the trip was not important, because if it was, they would have allowed him to be on a commercial plane to wherever he wants to go. And one of the former senators had said that, okay, let us investigate this matter. Nigerians said they are just trying to do this so that they can buy a new aircraft. All this is just a ploy to buy a new aircraft, so Nigerians will not complain because of the hardship. Because this government now, if it comes to them, anything they want, they get. But if it comes to Nigerians, they have to wait. That there are things the president wants to put in place to make Nigeria work. We will keep waiting. Before you know it, after next year, as we are entering next year, they are starting to prepare for campaign. So let's read. Peter Obi said, I just read a disturbing comment in the media space attributed to one of the supposed political leaders in the country, that the life of the vice president is in danger because of the fault recorded in his official aircraft. Oh, so you even have private ones. Now reading, they make us a bit things. So he said the leader went further to urge the federal government to purchase a new aircraft for the vice president. You guys know how they used to do now. They will start something and that person will not do as if he's the one, not knowing that all those things is a game plan. They are the ones that have planned this whole thing. In making such remark now, the speaker is insensitive and obviously unconcerned about the prevailing economic situation in the country. That Nigerians are facing untold hardship at the moment is no secret. Such a provoking call is coming from a person who probably is oblivious of the fact that Nigeria at present has continued to manifest every trait of a failed state. We are today among one of the 11 worst governed African nations in the last 10 years. We are also among the 20 most hungry nations in the world, with our people facing worsening mass poverty, extreme hunger, and starvation. Our nation remains the poverty capital of the world, with our per capita income crashing further from $1,700 in 2013 to $1,109 this year. Our nation remains the poverty. Okay, we've read that. Somebody said, okay, he continued. Are these not the issues that should be prioritized by committed leaders? Our national electricity grid has so far collapsed 8 times this year, more than that, sir, alone, and 115 times in the last 10 years, plunging our small businesses into great losses and households into darkness. In the past 15 months, several businesses have closed down or become distressed due to the harsh economic environment in the country. Are these not the issues that some preoccupy us as leaders? Rather than being consumed by our selfish desires for needless luxury at the expense of the people who you are called to serve, we are called to serve. Like, I like the fact that P2B puts himself in all of this. He speaks to the leaders and by extension puts himself as a leader, because of course he's a leader by all standards. He's a leader. What does Nigeria's vice president need a new jet for? And what value are all presidential and vice presidential trips adding to our present situation? Exactly. I have asked these questions a million times. He said it was not until 2014 that Indonesia, with sustainable economic growth of 60% annually for the past 10 years, added about 50% to both had GDP and GDP per capita, decide to buy a presidential jet used by both the president and vice president. That's the thing. Why should a president own a jet and a vice president will own a jet in a country like Nigeria that people are begging them to just do good governance? If not that Nigerians are good people, this crop of leaders, they will not even be walking the earth. Nigerians are very good people. That's all I can say. Ooh, the vice president travels mostly in the country's national airline, Garuda, Indonesia. And since we have recently undeservedly bought one, it should be used as essential, inevitable trips of president and vice president. I appeal to the president, vice president, and our public office holders that our present predicament situations calls only for minimal and highly contributory inevitable travels. They should reduce all those travels. It is time to sit down and find solutions to our challenges for the well-being of the country and people and development of Nigeria. Nigeria will rise again if the leadership can commit to selfless service. A new Nigeria is possible. We can get our priorities right. Guys, are you seeing that? We can get our priorities right. It's really, really funny. How do we get our priorities right? With this crop of leaders, it's funny. A lot of people on the comment section were wailing because that one is no longer crying, complaining, wailing, and saying, no, this is too much. Why are these people putting us through this kind of thing? It's not fair. But what can we do? You know, every time people say, oh, there's no opposition in Nigeria, there's no opposition in Nigeria for TINUBU, I think Peter Obi has tried and he has become a very strong opposition. I think he has done the best he could do to be a strong opposition. And anybody who doesn't see it as a strong opposition should try it and see if it's easy. Honestly, because how do you constantly buy things that benefit you? And you know the funny thing is how people will say, I stand for the vice president. Whatever happens to the vice president. You know that's how they started now when they wanted to buy aircraft for the presidency. They say, the president has to be protected. They ask the guy, they say, okay, so the president is more important than Nigerians. He says he's not saying like that, but the president is very, very important and nothing must happen to him. Hey, I've not seen how somebody sends someone to say, okay, go and represent me. The person goes and become bigger than the person that sent him. Because obviously that's the case of Nigerian politicians. They will say, oh, vote me, I will do this. If you vote me, I will do that. If you vote for me, I will do this. At the end of the day, when they go in, they become lords. They become, how they call it? They become lords. Yes, they become lords. Because a lord is somebody that you reverence, is someone you practically worship. You understand? So they become mini gods. In fact, they almost become more than God Almighty. They try to see how they can outsmart God. Every other person in Nigeria should wait and be hungry, but the president must eat. His family must eat. When the wife wakes up, she sleeps and wakes up, she'll say, my husband is not a cause. God forbid, not my husband. No. In quotation marks, I beg. Her husband is not the cause of all the dwindling economy. Then it was the other administration. And I keep asking, who was the head of the other administration? It's not them that were still steering the ship. It's not them to them. It's not like in the time of Buhari, when he would say, oh, it's Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. He came to second term. He couldn't blame Goodluck again. They were still blaming Goodluck and PDP. Now that they are the ones again in the third term, because as far as I'm concerned, they are doing the third term. And if this man goes into power again, they are doing the fourth term. That's it. That's how I see it. Until we wake up and begin to call a spade, we'll remain where we are. Because we don't have leaders. You know, a leader is somebody that is selfless. A leader is somebody that is kind. A leader is somebody that is patient. A leader is somebody that is a servant leader. Somebody that leads the right way. Somebody that has integrity. But we don't see all those qualities in them. So they are rulers, not leaders. A ruler is somebody that comes and calls the shots. As he calls the shot, everybody follows. So until they come down from their high horse and listen to the masses, they are not leaders. and they can never fall under the category of leadership. Nigeria will be great again in our lifetime. That's all I know.